I want to say a few words regarding the terrible murder yesterday of Charlie Kirk, someone who I strongly disagreed with on almost every issue, but who was clearly a very smart and effective communicator and organizer, and someone unafraid to get out into the world and engage the public. My condolences go out to his wife and his family. A free and democratic society, which is what America is supposed to be about, depends upon the basic premise that people can speak out, organize, and take part in public life without fear, without worrying that they might be killed, injured, or humiliated for expressing their political views.
Senator Bernie Sanders delivered a forceful statement in response to the murder of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk, describing the killing as both tragic and deeply dangerous for democracy. Sanders, who has often clashed with Kirk ideologically, began by offering his condolences to Kirk's wife and family. He acknowledged that, while their views could not have been more different, Kirk was a sharp communicator, an effective organizer, and someone who was never afraid to engage the public directly. Sanders emphasized that the foundation of American democracy rests on a simple but vital promise, that people must be free to speak out, organize, and take part in public life without fear of being attacked or killed. He stressed that disagreements are central to a democratic society, but they must be resolved through debate and elections, not through intimidation or violence. Political violence, Sanders said, is political cowardice. It is what people resort to when they cannot persuade others of their ideas. The Vermont senator also pointed to a troubling rise in politically motivated attacks in recent years. He cited the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, the assault on Paul Pelosi, the plot against Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, the murder of Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband, and shootings that have targeted figures across the political spectrum.
In fact, that is the essence of what freedom is about and what democracy is about. You have a point of view, that's great. I have a point of view that is different than yours. That's great. Let's argue it out. We make our case to the American people at the local, state, and federal levels, and we hold free elections in which the people decide what they want. That's called freedom and democracy. The murder of Charlie Kirk is part of a disturbing rise in political violence that threatens to hollow out public life and make people afraid of participating. From the January 6, 2021 attack on the United States Capitol, to the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, to the attack on Paul Pelosi, to the attempted kidnapping of Michigan Governor Whitmer, to the murder of Minnesota's Speaker of the House, Melissa Hortman, and her husband, to the arson attack on Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, to the shooting of United Health Executive Brian Thompson, and the shooting several years ago of Representative Steve Scalise, this chilling rise in violence has targeted public officials across the political spectrum. Sadly, this is not a new phenomenon. We all remember the assassinations of President Kennedy, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Senator Robert F. Kennedy, John Lennon, Medgar Evers, and the attempted assassinations of President Ronald Reagan and Alabama Governor George Wallace. This is a difficult and contentious moment in American history. Democracy in our country and throughout the world is under attack.
Sanders warned that these incidents, regardless of ideology, all share the same effect. They create fear and discourage citizens from taking part in civic life. He further reminded Americans that this is not a new phenomenon. The nation has lived through the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the shootings of President Ronald Reagan and Governor George Wallace. Each of these tragedies, he argued, underscored the fragility of democratic institutions when violence enters political life. Sanders concluded by calling on Americans of all political backgrounds to stand together against political violence in every form. He urged citizens to respect dissenting views, protect open debate, and safeguard the freedom to speak out without fear. If we believe in democracy and freedom, Sanders said, we must condemn political violence, always, without exception.
Bottom line, if we honestly believe in democracy, if we believe in freedom, all of us must be loud and clear. Political violence, regardless of ideology, is not the answer and must be condemned. Thank you very much.